What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Marketing Show. I'm Ty Smith. With me today is Altcoin Sara.
Hiya, hi Ty.
Today we are going to do our first ever Influencer Spotlight episode. So I'm really interested to talk to Sara about what kind of goes in behind the scenes and the history of being a content creator in the crypto space. Before we dive in, let's do a little intro, I think, for you, Sara. You're a content creator. You've been in the game for, I don't know how long exactly, years though, because we've known each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
Over 60K, I think, Twitter followers. You've worked with dozens of brands in the crypto space. So I'm super excited that you're here for the first episode that we do with an influencer. All right, cool. Let's dive right into it. I mean, what first got you into the world of creating crypto content?
So thank you, first of all, Ty, for having me. I'm absolutely honored to be actually the first one. I didn't realize that I was going to be the first one of the series, so it's an extremely big honor. Like you said, we've known each other for years now. So it's great to come on the show and actually speak to you, because we've actually not met in the past. The beauty of crypto,
true.
isn't it? So I got into crypto exactly 4 years ago. Just around November time 2017, and I was following loads of different accounts on YouTube who were creating content, and me and my partner, we used to go on walks with our dogs, and he would sort of make jokes about me being a content creator. And then sort of we were starting thinking, like, why won't I start doing it then? So I created Altcoin Sara. I was part of Altcoin Bash as well at the time. And that sort of kicked off, people started agreeing with me. I've posted some controversial stuff, went viral a couple of times. And that's pretty much how it all started, I never started creating content with the idea of having a large following. It's something that just happened because I consistently kept creating content. So if anyone's asking for advice on how to do it, just be consistent with it. That's all I can say. And what got me into crypto? Well, I think it's sort of like everyone starts at the same point of hoping to make a moonbag, get rich, and get your Lambo. So that was what initially got me into it. But then, after investing in pretty much every possible shitcoin back in 2017, and having lost a lot of money because of that during the bear market of between 2018 and 2020. I actually started learning about this space and what actually blockchain is, what Bitcoin actually is, what is actually inflation, because I did know the word, but actually didn't know how important it was to actually understand it. Because they don't really teach you those things at school, you just sort of expected to know what it is and just get on with your adult life. So once I start educating myself, I've realized how massive this space is going to be. Once everyone starts learning and understanding how wrong the way things are right now will just change the world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like there's different waves of like people who got into crypto, and I feel like you were part of this cohort around the same time that I got into it, and a lot of, kind of this cohort of influencers and stuff that we all kind of work together now, that really got in it before, like, it was just like a way to make a lot of money. It was like, inflation's really becoming a problem. We have to address that. We need to search for other alternative assets that are going to allow us to like keep our wealth rather than slowly lose 6%, whatever it is, a year now. It's cool.
It's crazy. It's crazy what's currently happening. Like, I keep telling to my friends to get into crypto that they're gonna lose their money. That is just, if you're not getting a pay rise that's greater than inflation, you're essentially taking a pay cut. Yeah. And until people realize that, I think there's gonna be more and more difference between the poor and the wealthy, and that is my mission, to make people realize that they need to start investing. If they don't want to go into something as crazy as crypto, just anything, just start investing and being your own bank and making sure that you have your money taken care of, because no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's easier now than it was before, because when we first got into the game, DeFi wasn't so much a thing as it is now. Like, you couldn't just put your money in Aave or Compound. You can now, which is kind of cool. So, yeah. So I know you said you kind of, it's funny. There's always like, whenever we talk with influencers, there's like two categories. There's people that like are really in the side of like social media marketing and like they really made a concerted effort to become an influencer from the start. And there's these other people that kind of like fell into it and just happened to grow a big following. Which category do you think you fit into?
Oh, it just happened. I'm the second category, the latter one. And I don't really know when and how it happened, but it just did. And I remember when first project reached out to me to do some marketing with them, and I said, guys, I have no idea what and how I can help you. I like the project, so I sort of done it for free. And then as I start creating more and more for them, more projects start reaching out to me. And as I start working with more and more, I start getting more experience, as those things happen. Then agencies like Coinbound start partnering up with me. And that sort of just picked up. It's really difficult for me to say when it and how it happened, but it just happened. I was just consistent. I was posting daily. And I wasn't really thinking about it. Like, it wasn't any sort of strategy. I was just sharing my thoughts, and it just happened. It really just happened.
So would you say my next question, my team always prepares like a list of questions before we go into any of these
Okay.
episodes. One of the questions they prepared, and I'm just curious, was, what contributed to the success of you on, let's say, Twitter, most specifically? What do you think contributed to your success? It sounds like consistency and posting daily. Is there anything else?
Yeah, honestly, just staying true to what I believe in, and being honest. I think mainly because very often people tend to post only their wins, not their losses. Up to this date, I will share the ridiculous things I've done back in 2017. And that sort of authenticity, I think, is what made people want to connect with me. Because I never claimed, to make my millions immediately, that I bought the moon bag, that I bought exactly the bottom. I never claimed that. I was scared when Bitcoin hit $3,000. I became sort of skeptical, like pretty much everyone did back then, right? We bounced back from it, and everyone's loving crypto, right? Well, right now maybe not exactly, but crypto did bounce back, and that's exactly what I think helps people make a connection with me. I am just being honest, truthful, and showing them that I might have a big following. It's nothing I ever planned. It just happened. And I also make mistakes. I made potentially every single possible mistake back in the day. I also made lots of great wins. Like, I don't want to say I only invest badly. But there is so much that I have learned in the meantime that I'm aiming to show people what you can do to make sure you don't end up as badly as I did, losing 99% of what you've put in, for example.
On the side of being a content creator or an influencer, what kind of challenges do you deal with?
Um, that I'm part of being a content creator.
Yeah, like we find that people have this kind of fallacy, like, the non-content creators, they think, oh, like these people, they just post some tweets and they make a ton of money, and they live the good life. There's no challenges at all. But I found that behind the scenes there really is struggles, and there really is challenges with creating an audience, and like maybe, being consistent and posting every day is easier said than done. Some people have that skill naturally, and some people, probably most people, don't. Is there any challenges you faced along the way?
I mean, we have to be a little bit realistic. It does take 24. It's crypto is a never-ending market. I am constantly on my phone. And the other day, I was out with my family, and they literally just asked me to. They literally took my phone off me because I was constantly messaging, agreeing stuff, coming to some arrangements with other projects, and it's just constantly really affects your personal life. And maybe it's bad on my behalf that I let it overtake so much of my life, but that is the biggest challenge for me, is how time consuming it can be. And if you don't have the right people and the right network with you, then you're really going to struggle long term. So I'm not trying to get any petty from anyone or anything. I am just answering the question. And also the fact that you have a big following, it makes people think that you know it all, that what I say is correct, that I'm never wrong. If I'm wrong, I am going to be crucified for it. All the drama that keeps happening on Twitter, especially. Things can get nasty. Once I tweeted something, I was walking, right, and I was tweeting, and the autocorrect corrected something and made a whole sentence sound like I had no idea whatsoever what I was talking about. And that went viral. And I had to deal with it. And I think people often forget that behind those big accounts are real people, real emotions, real feelings. So whenever you're hating on someone, you have to remember that we are all just people, and we have our own lives as well, and not everything's always, beautiful because you have a big following. It doesn't mean anything. It's just so much responsibility that sometimes it's just overwhelming altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like people have like this love-hate relationship with influencers, I found, where it's like a little bit of jealousy gets played in there and expectation to be perfect. I've seen, and it requires some mental toughness, I think, on the side of content creators that people don't necessarily give the credit for.
Mm-hmm.
So of course this podcast we and my background we spoke focus specifically on marketing. And influencer marketing is huge in crypto. I'm curious where you see influencers playing a role in a crypto marketing strategy.
So before we get on with that question, I don't want to say I hate it because it's a strong word. Hate is a strong word. But I
Okay.
really despise the association that the word influencer brings into the space, because people often, like, whenever I hear a word influencer, my first thought is, who am I really influencing? So I sort of prefer being referred to as a content creator or KOL if I fancy being fancy, right? Um, so having said that, I completely forgot what was your question, Ty. I am so sorry.
How you see, I'll rephrase it. Instead of saying influencer, I'll say KOL so we can be fancy. Um, how you see KOLs playing a role in marketing strategies in
Oh,
crypto?
I think it's massive, because how else, there's so many. What happens most of the time when projects come to me, they have an amazingly developed roadmap. They've got dev teams. They've got all the tech guys are taking care of things, and they are ready and they're good to go. And all they keep thinking is, why is no one investing into us? Well, how are people going to know about you if you are not going to invest into marketing, if you're not going to get the word out? And that's where I think the problem comes, because we get paid for creating content, and very often it's hard to justify or reason why we choose a certain projects to work with and some of them not. And we can't predict whether a certain project is going to succeed or not. We do our best with the due diligence to ensure that it's not a scam, but we can't always have an influence. Like, there are some certain types. That's why we always say, do your own research. Like, whatever we say, it's not a financial advice. Do not take it for word. Remember, we are not the one pressing the buy button when you invest into the project. So I think it's important to understand that influencers can help bring the awareness to the projects, but we can't do all the work for everyone. So
Got it.
yeah, so what happens most of the time is the project is developed, like this, the background is there, the background work with dev team is done, and very often the projects do really well are the projects who actually don't have a lot of marketing, unfortunately, because the team is so focused on developing that no one actually knows about the project, and it's very often the project that I become a part of, and that's where I come and help them. I do my best to help, but there's only so much a person can do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the biggest shame in our industry that sometimes the most innovative technology lacks any marketing. Um,
Exactly, like, we've seen like, I'm gonna name a few projects that did very
sure.
well thanks to a massive, massive marketing, right? Like, we've got Dogecoin, we've got Shiba Inu, we've got SafeMoon. Like, all those projects, they became such a high market cap purely because of the hype and the marketing it brought in. But when you actually look into it, well, it's quite questionable what they're actually challenging and influencing and changing in this world. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are
Yeah.
just certain projects that get the hype right, but then once the hype is gone, people start actually questioning, like, what's going on? Like, why are we buying into this? People are buying into meme coins because they're hoping it's gonna be the next Dogecoin, that they're gonna make the money on it. And most of the time, everyone ends up losing it because the greed kicks in. Yeah, it's a different story then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because there's so many now segments to crypto. It used to just be like everyone had a crypto. There was utility tokens, and people were building apps, and then tokens were involved, in those apps. Now there's a whole subset of just pure meme coins, coins that don't even claim they do anything, and people are still buying them. For what reason? It's just gambling, in my opinion. I think most people will agree it's just gambling at that point. But there is something to be said about some people just want to gamble, and that's fine. Um, but they all have very different marketing strategies these days.
Like,
About a month ago, or maybe even sooner, you announced that you were coming on as CMO of DEFIT, the digital fitness token. I'm
that's
curious
correct.
to hear if you can talk to the transition from content creator to CMO, what that process has been like.
It's been rather crazy. I need to point out that prior to that, I was creating content and I was still working as a senior engineer, as a highways engineer. So crypto wasn't actually my full time. When the CMO position arose, I knew it was like a hint from the universe, like it's quite a stupid thing I believe in, that it's time to just bite the bullet and go full time crypto, because it was something I've been thinking about for a very long time. I could have done it 2 years ago. I just really enjoy being an engineer, so I haven't done it. So I handed in my notice a month ago, and because I had a lot of annual leave, I sort of finished this week. And so it's been like my first week of full time crypto, and it's been the craziest time ever we've had because DFIT, they've not had anyone responsible for marketing. I met the guys a year ago when they launched with Ferrum and YFDI, and I helped them with marketing on that side. And me and the founder, we sort of stay very closely in touch because we both are into fitness. Like if anyone follows me, they know I am a bodybuilder, an aspiring professional bodybuilder. And that sort of connected us really closely. And then when all the app and the web app all become almost ready to be launched, they needed marketing. So also with the fact that they've got a CX, a first centralized exchange listing coming up, they need someone who knows the people, who knows what's going to work and what doesn't. And that's where I'll come in. I've not worked with a team before when it comes to crypto. I'm not going to lie, it's rather challenging having to deal with our graphic designer in India and our Telegram managers in America. And the CEO is actually in France, Kevin, so it's very close time zones. But we've got teams all over the world, and it is extremely challenging trying to get things done. But luckily, thanks to me being an engineer, I've worked in a team before. I was responsible for some guys doing certain tasks, so I'm used to it. It's more of a management tool in a way, but at the
Hmm.
same time, we're using, because 4 years in crypto is a lot of time. Like you said at the time, I've worked with many projects, many agencies, many exchanges reached out to me. So the fact that I know the people makes things sometimes very much easier to ensure that we get the right marketing out. So we've got a strategy ideas. We're gonna come up with a strategy after Christmas for 2022. For now, before Christmas, we've got a first centralized exchange listing. I can't say who yet, but there will be posts and hints, and we'll make it a big thing because those guys deserve it. Do you
Awesome.
know what
Yeah.
Default 360 Wellness is?
No, I really don't know too much about it, but feel take the stage and let me know. Educate us.
Awesome. So a 360 Wellness is the best way to put it is think of MyFitnessPal, Fitbit, and any other social media platform you use for tracking your fitness. What 360 Wellness does, it brings it all together and allows you to keep everything together. It brings also the opportunity for all my trainers to use the platform for classes. As we know, training during pandemic has become quite common to do on Zoom, Google Meets, whatever platform people want to use. So there are also opportunities like that. And to allow for the payments to take place, we have created DEFIT, which is the gamification token of the fitness industry. So we're currently onboarding some ambassadors if they're interested in joining us. We've got some amazing rewards for the people who will be joining us and helping spread the word. Like I said, The web app is almost ready to be launched. We've had some mishaps, but from what we've heard, it's one of the most advanced platforms, even better than Trainer Z. So it'll be interesting to see how it all goes. But from what I've seen, it's definitely the project that I'm proud and so happy to be a part of.
Yeah,
Proud of.
it seems like a great fit considering your fitness background.
Exactly. Like I still can't believe that this is like my life. Like it's great because we've got meetings in the morning, and and sometimes my work actually takes longer than it should do, and I'm on a treadmill doing my cardio, and the guys are there just talking, and I'm ticking off my boxes, I'm having stuff agreed, I'm honestly living my best life, and all I keep thinking is, why haven't I gone full-time crypto earlier? The fact that I can do crypto and fitness just blows my mind. Like,
That's awesome.
oh my god, I'm the happiest person ever.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel also. Like I feel I was like born to do marketing, and I love crypto, but it's like crypto allowed everyone to just kind of challenge the way they were living their lives, and just empower them to live the life they wanted. Because you can do like fitness plus crypto, crypto plus marketing, crypto plus accounting, like whatever it is that your interest is, pair that
Yeah.
with crypto, and you can build like a really successful living.
Exactly, exactly. And like I never thought of myself ending up in sort of marketing aspect of business, but I've always created content, like on Instagram before crypto, and I knew what it was. I always posted stuff, and I got a decent following on my personal account there. I no longer post because I just don't have time, and I created my Altcoin Sara as well, so I focus on that. But it's always creating content. It was always there for me. Always enjoyed it, and just honestly it's the best thing ever, just sharing your thoughts and people enjoying it and agreeing with you, disagreeing with you, challenging the status quo. Oh, honestly, it's the best. Like, if anyone, don't really worry about the fact that you are not growing or if you want to be a content creator or not. Just do you be authentic, and that's how you grow your following.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna, as we wrap up this episode, I wanted to ask you if there was any more actionable advice that you have for someone that's looking to become a content creator in crypto or a
Yeah, so
KOL.
honestly, just don't worry. People are gonna hate you. They're gonna love you. No matter what you do, what you say, who you work with. Just as long as you're happy and what you do is true to your values, you will succeed. Like, it doesn't work otherwise. If you're enjoying what you're doing, it's gonna work out really well for you. Um, I think that if you're aiming to be a big account and you sort of get trapped in the idea of doing things for cloud, you're actually going to end up doing the opposite, because it'll just be obvious that you're being invested and you just want the attention of people. Some people might disagree with me on that, but just be authentic and be happy and have a good vibe only, and it'll all work out for you.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up on that note. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Ty, and say hi to everyone in the Countdown team from me, and have a
We'll
great
do.
weekend.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Thank you.